What's up, everybody?
Whoa, hold on now. Slow it down.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We need to breathe more. No hand gestures.
Nice and calm.
Yeah,
people don't like the energy sometimes.
Here we go. Welcome to the best of Board Game Geek.
They did it!
That's right, it's time for another Board Game Geek roundup, as
Yeah,
it were.
kind of talk about the best things in board games. We're going to go over the hotnesses. We have a couple picks that we choose, cool parts of BGG, and we're going to go over a little bit of the newsy news as well.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump to the news right now.
Some cool news from the BGG store is now you can filter out promos, which is super, super nice because there's like over 1,000 promos on BGG. We've actually seen the promo wall at BGG's headquarters. It's incredible how many different promos there are. It's super cool, but it can be kind of hard to find things in there. So now we have a filter function where you can filter by a specific game. So I want to find filters for photosynthesis, just that, boom, and you can click that, or you can even do it alphabetically. You just want the K's, just the A, just the B, whatever. You can filter things out like that. Speaking of promos, there's some new Dice Tower promos in there. There's some pins, some coasters, cool things like that. There's also always some new games and some new pre-orders out. So check out the BGG store. There's always a lot of great stuff.
So the biggest piece of news regarding Board Game Geek is that BGG Con this fall is officially happening. As of this moment, we have plans to have a limited capacity, with things maybe changing if numbers go down and things start to look good, moving on into the fall. So BGG Con is going to happen November 17th through the 21st at the Hyatt Regency Dallas. And if you're in the Dallas area and feeling comfortable and want to game it up with your friends, come on down. It's likely to be a really good time. And just bear in mind that November is a ways away and a lot of things can change, but go ahead and stay tuned with BGG to find updates and things as everything develops. And you can find ticketing info in the description of this video. So that's just a little bit of the Board Game Geek news. You, of course, can check out the front page any old time you need to see what's going on.
Yeah, and now let's head over to that side of the studio to go over the hotness. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the hottest games of the month.
These are the games that are the most talked about on Board Game Geek, the most visited pages.
They spent the most time on the hotness. Some are lower, but they were there every single day.
These
for
are
the
the
last
games
month.
that captured the interest of the people this month.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and start with number 10.
So number 10 is Nemesis by Awaken Realms, and this game is not Alien.
It's not Alien.
But it is similar. It's a semi-co-op game where you are on a spaceship with some sort of extraterrestrial that is wreaking havoc.
Some not xenomorphs. Yeah.
Right, but you all have your own kind of missions, your own mission, your own types of thing that you're trying to get done. So that's where the semi-co-op nature comes in.
I do really want to try
We have a buddy that has it. We haven't been able, obviously, to get together, but it is one that I'm really interested to try because it seems like a fun time.
It seems cool, yeah. So I do really want to try Nemesis, but this is a game that's been around for a couple years now, and people love it. I mean, people absolutely adore it.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
that's why it's number 10.
Ooh.
Hey.
Our number 9 is by Praise Be. Praise Be to Phil Walker Harding. We always praise be to Phil Walker Harding.
We love you.
Everyone always should. But Mike was on Target recently and found a Phil Walker Harding game called Summer Camp.
I was like, what
which is number 9 of the hotness. It popped up a couple different times. And yeah, we were just like, what is this? It's about summer camps. We used to go to summer camp.
We did.
I love summer camp.
It's fantastic. So this is a deck building game where you will, you have some basic cards and you'll choose 3 activities, like merit badges. You'll have like water sports and adventure
Cooking.
and friendship and things like that. And you'll choose 3 of them. And it's just kind of a basic deck building game.
Yeah, really good
intro.
Yeah.
Great way to teach people this concept of what deck building is, which is like a little bit hard to grok if you haven't played many board games.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
And this is one that, like you said, we love summer camp. I think it's such a great theme because it's outdoorsy. It's charming art. It's hard to beat. And like, who doesn't like
getting like cooking merit badges? It's like fun.
Yeah,
like,
it's like that's something that I think we can all agree is like a nice thing.
Yeah,
it
it's
just makes
nice,
you feel
wholesome.
good.
Yeah, and summer camp. We played it. It's really, really fun. We like it a lot.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to see it on the hotness at number 9.
All right, let's get number 8. So number 8 is Siege, the board game. So this is a big minis game by Mythic Games, but this is based on Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege specifically.
Right.
We used to play Rainbow Six back in the day, and so like that's super. First I was like, what is this game? I was like, oh, it's based off Rainbow Six. Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes
kind of
more
like
sense.
a card-driven, I think, tactical.
Yeah,
team
you each have your own crew, and you're going against each other trying to win. It's one of those kind of big mini games that like I always would love to try, but like I don't think we probably would need it, you know. But super cool. These kinds of games do great. People love Rainbow Six is mean, that franchise has been around for a long time.
Such a well-known and used
and I'll say
property.
Video game board games are getting better and better and better. And so I'm really happy to see more and more than others, because it kind of was like video game movies. It's always like, you can't make a good video game movie. I feel like board games were kind of the same way for a while, but now they're like getting really good ones out. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's keep doing this. This is awesome. Yeah. Absolutely. So The Siege is your number 8.
So number 7 is Imperium Classics, which is a game where you're going to be choosing from different civilizations. They're going to be really asymmetrical.
8 different civilizations,
8 different civilizations, and you can, it's kind of hand management.
There's you're doing some deck building, there's some markets, so it's a card game, and you're playing against people, and you have a different civilization.
Like Vikings.
Yeah, like Macedonia, or different things like that. There's also Imperium Legends, which has another 8 factions, and it's kind of like any of these like Dice Throne type games. You can mix them all up. So there's a whole bunch of different factions. We hadn't really heard about this game until it started popping the hotness, but it looks really, really cool.
Art style, of course, is great.
Yeah, Mihailo Dmitrievsky is always great art, and people are really, really into it. I love these kinds of games where it's like take a faction or take a hero or take someone. They're very, very
different. Figure out what they do,
and just you got to play them, you got to learn them, you got to get good at them. And there's a lot of people talking about that being like, I had to play this one a couple times to really get it. Now I get it. I won with it. Now on to the next faction. I'm like, okay, cool. That sounds like there's a lot to explore. And there's already 16 factions, so I'm just like, great, keep it coming.
Plenty there and more to come, I imagine.
Yeah.
So number 7 is Imperium Classics.
Number 6 is Oath.
Oath
is probably gonna be here for a bit. Yeah, Oath is it keeps going like, did it back up and did it back up? It's just like,
well, it's getting into people's hands now, and I think we are all getting more opportunities to have game nights. And this is a game that can play up to 6 players, so it's really good for a nice game group.
Yes. And we played it like 5 players, so it's like one thing, but it's like 2-player. You probably want more people for Oath. So I think this is a game. People are like, I want to play this game. Can we play this game now that we can have game nights?
Especially
again?
there's kind of a campaign element to it. It's not like a strict legacy game or anything, but the game that was played prior will impact the next game.
But you don't have to have played the prior game.
Correct. So people have described it as it's a game with memory.
Yeah.
Where remember something that happened before.
It's great
marketing. You could reset the game for the next time, and a whole different group plays, but the game will be a little bit different. The game state will be a little bit different based off of the previous play, which is a cool way to kind of keep the variety going.
Yeah.
And this is one I want to play again. We played it once. Everyone was learning the game.
Yeah,
so
I do want to play it again.
I'd like to play it now that we sort of have an idea of what we're doing. But Oath has been around for the last couple months. It's number 6. I imagine it'll be on the hotness next month and maybe into the future a bit more.
Number 5 is something that I feel like a lot of people have wanted for a long time, and that is a re-implementation of Battlestar Galactica, and that is what this is. It's Unfathomable. They took BSG, which is a very popular social deduction game, but a very big, long social deduction game, where there are Cylons and then crew members, and you're trying to find out who the Cylons are. People love it. Some of our friends, it's one of their favorite games. But they finally remade it, and they made it, because Battlestar Galactica hasn't been on for a while now, so.
No, it's not. It's
a theme still, that like.
It's so loved.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Unfathomable takes it and puts it into kind of the Cthulhu
area, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where there's like these hybrids, like deep ones from the water, that hybrid with
like
human.
Old one hybrids,
so you don't know who's who, kind of the Cylon vibe. You don't know who's human, who's a hybrid.
Yeah, and then it's for the most part, from what we understand, it's like the same game, but probably more streamlined, some cool, I'm hoping a little bit shorter. We've never played BSC, we've always kind of like, I want to play it like at a convention one day kind of thing. So now I'm like, okay, I'd probably rather play Unfathomable, because I've never watched Battlestar Galactica, so I have no ties.
There's some amount of streamlining that's gone into this one, so it'd be interesting to try.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I like hidden trader games and things and social deduction type games in the right setting.
Yeah,
and the right setting are a good one for that.
Yeah, exactly. So Unfathomable is number 5. People are pumped.
Number 4.
This is never going to leave. And
that's okay. Never going
it's
anywhere.
Amazing.
This is Lost Ruins of Arnak, which has.
I want the expansion now.
It needs no help being on the hotness,
now?
but it has had a solo campaign recently happen. We talked about that last time, and they announced an expansion coming up this October. So Lost Ruins is its own hype machine.
But even then, it's just. But on top of that, it's just probably the most popular game of the last year. I mean, it's just
arguably
people love it, and it was on BGA, and people are playing it like crazy on BGA. We adore it. It was our favorite game of last year. We absolutely love it. We played it last night. It's great. Super excited for the expansion. I think this is a modern classic. I really think so. I think gonna stick around for a long time.
Yeah, games sometimes will pop up for a moment and then they don't go away, but they don't capture the attention for an extended period of time. And Lost Ruins has definitely done that, which is pretty cool for them. And it's deserved. It's good. It's a good game. We like it a lot.
Yeah. So that's number 4.
Number 3 is a new version of Terraforming Mars. It's the Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, which is a more kind of card focused version of Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars, of course, has many cards, but there's also kind of an area control element with putting tiles out onto the planet. With Ares Expedition, they kind of pare that stuff back, and they focus more about the engine building through the cards that you'll play. And the main thing this is really great that we got this recently and played it, that we really enjoy, is it kind of has a Race for the Galaxy phase selection system, where you're not going to carry out every single phase in the game like you would in Terraforming Mars. You sort of have these rounds, and you take the actions you want to take. Here, if you want to take a certain action, play a certain kind of card,
you have to choose that phase.
Produce resources, you have to make sure that phase gets selected.
And it's so cool because you can choose a phase and be like, oh, I hope Mike chooses this phase as well.
So I also get to,
so you have a little bit of that mind game, but it's just I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it. I love the action selection system. And something that's really simple, but to me, like, changes so much about the game, is you can just ditch a card at any time for $3.
Oh, that's a
God, it's amazing.
Change.
You're just like, oh, I want to put this card in play. I don't need these. Pfft, bye.
I would even house rule for Terraforming Mars so you can just always do that.
Oh my gosh, it
why
was
not?
so nice. And so we really, really enjoyed it. Love Terraforming Mars and stuff. And yeah, it was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So Terraforming Mars is number 3 on the hotness. As you can expect, it's Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and jump into number 2.
I'm pumped number 2 is here because it's just so weird and awesome. But this is Gloomholdin.
Wait, you said Gloomhaven,
Gloomholdin, no, it's Texas Hold'em, it's a Gloomhaven. That's not true.
What?
Gloomholdin is a fan-made and Isaac Childress
publisher approved,
Yeah, publisher approved, like handheld version of Gloomhaven called Gloomholdin, which is just great.
Great title.
Great branding, right?
Title.
But it's like, it like takes places like Gloomhaven. It apparently feels decently like the game, but it's all in your hands, like a Palm one. And I'm just like, what? That's amazing.
And I think it's like with 18 or 20 cards, like it's a micro game basically, but they just wanted to create just a touch of the feel of playing Gloomhaven. I just think it's such a fun fan project. And that's something that is always going on, but particularly this last year, there's just a lot of people who are have time and they are dedicating it to creative endeavors.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to have something like that happen. And then the people at BoardGameGeek are into it, you know, and it's something that you can get for yourself at home.
And then the publisher is also like, cool. It's just like,
I
love it. I love
just
that.
Everyone being a good sport.
That community stuff is what makes board games great, you know. And so just so cool. I'm so glad it's been all over the hotness. It's been great. I'm like, yes.
Check out the page for Gloomholdin because it's really cool. It's just a really neat thing. It makes me happy to see that it exists.
Yes, that's number 2. Let's go ahead and get number 1.
Undethronable game that is Dune Imperium.
It's the constant fight between Dune Imperium and Lost Ruins of Arnak, I believe. It's just like, these two, again, Dune Imperium seems like it might be a modern classic too. I mean, people just non-stop are playing this game. They absolutely adore it.
And you have that thing where it's always, those two games, Lost Ruins of Arnak and Dune Imperium, are always being spoken the same sentence of like, which is better? How do they relate? How they differ? So you can tell both these games have just captured people's attention in a big bad way where it's like, I'm thinking about purchasing a game. Which of these do I get? So they kind of feed each other. I imagine that they will stay in the hotness kind of together and they will go as the other goes.
Probably, why?
And so, I feel like anytime Lost Ruins has something, Dune Imperium gets a bump.
I mean, they're both just permanently in the top 5 of the hotness. I mean, they're just boom there, you know. It's just that people love them, absolutely love them. Dune Imperium is number 1. I mean, it's just been at the top is the whole time. It's just like, all right, man, like, I love it. Like, good. I'm so happy to see like just these games are doing so well. It's just amazing.
It's good when good games are popular.
Nice. So that is the hotness, the hottest games of the month. But quickly, what we always do at the very end here is we go through the most played games of the month because we think it's interesting. There's a lot of repeat in this, so we don't make it a whole thing. But let's go through quickly the most played games of the month. Number 10.
These are logged plays, mind you.
Yeah, these are logged plays.
So there might be other games out there that are actually played more, but these are the ones that were logged on board.
Exactly. So that is a good thing to point out. So we have Azul, which got played 4,154 times. Logged. Still a lot. People still love just base Azul. We had Railroad Inc. Deep Blue Edition.
This is because Railroad Inc. Challenges has an app now, and Deep Blue is the one that's currently available.
Is that what it is?
I have contributed to that number because I played a lot of the Railroad Inc. Challenges app.
Yeah, there it goes. 4,393. Yeah, I was like, that's interesting. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Seven Wonders Duel, which is very often on this list with 4,863. We have Splendor, which isn't usually on the list, but is always played a lot because it's just quick.
I feel like people are talking about Splendor all of a sudden again.
I feel like that too, right? 4,885. We have Magic the Gathering, which to be honest is probably played more than this. But that's 4,909. Lost Ruins of Arnak, of course, is on here. 6,073. Terraforming Mars, just normal Terraforming Mars, 6,284. Wow. Wingspan Wingspan is always like up here in the top 5, 6,673, and then the top
the
two. The
inevitable giant jump.
The top 2, which are always the top 2 in this exact order, is Marvel Champions, which is 10,168, and then The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9, which is 11,505.
I'm really excited for when the new crew comes out to see if that flips all of a sudden,
I
or if
don't
you see
know,
both
right?
the crews are up there. We'll have
And
to
again,
find out.
both The Crew and Marvel Champions are played by less than 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So
they're
it's like,
so playable.
Oh man,
especially
it's
the crew is just
every time it's just like
round after round
those
after round. Yeah, it's just very playable game. So that's the most played games of the month. Of course, these are things you can do. You can log your plays. In terms of the hotness, by going to pages, talking about games, and interacting with those games, it will influence the hotness. So just know that you are the reason the hotness is what it is. The things that you are interested are reflected on BoardGameGeek. So we're going to talk about a couple things that we were interested on BoardGameGeek this month with some Murph picks. Back over there. So my pick this month of something I think is really fun on BoardGameGeek is a solo print and play competition for 2021. This is a competition that's been going on for quite a while, and it really serves to focus on people who are maybe first-time designers or people who really want to try to create a game that is playable by yourself and keeps components and costs really low and inexpensive by making it a print and play. So there's this big competition that's gonna be going on. Submissions are open now through August 23rd. And then in the fall, people can be play testing and trying out your game, and then they'll vote on games they think are the best. So I think it's just a really neat thing, something that really drives community interaction and maybe gives some people who have always wanted to make a game that they have in their mind come to life, they get a chance to get some playtesters and things. I think it's a really awesome thing for the hobby, and just the idea of making soloable print and play games is something that I just think is really neat. So go ahead and check out that competition right here on BoardGameGeek.
So my Murph pick is a geek list, and I love geek lists because they're all over the place, and that's so awesome. And this one by Ghost of Merlin is talking about what to do with your massive boxes. Massive boxes are kind of an issue in board games, and issue is a wrong word. There's something you have to plan around. If you get like a big Gloomhaven box, it's gonna take up, this much of your shelf, and that's a lot. And so it's like, is that worth it? And that's what this geek list is about, is basically box size to enjoyment ratio. Where does that land, and is it worth keeping? I think it's such a cool list. So Ghost of Merlin went and kind of like ranked all of their games with big boxes. The first is the Anachrony Infinity box, and there's a little blurb about each game and their box, and then there's a size to enjoyment ratio. This box has a large size, but a moderate enjoyment, and then also has a verdict, so keeping it for now. There's things like Battlecry, which is a moderate sized box and moderate enjoyment. And like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get rid of this one because I don't think nostalgia is keep it around. Update, never mind, I got rid of other stuff and decided to keep it. And there are a ton more that Ghost of Merlin goes through. I think it's such a cool thought experiment. This is why I love BGG. I love little parts of BGG like this, because this is like kind of an issue. Like, is this box so big? Is it worth it? Do I enjoy this game this much? Does the extra setup warrant all this? I just think it's such a cool experiment, and it's something that I absolutely adore on BGG. So yeah, I love this geek list. Go check it out. It's really, really fun.
So before we get to our outro, we always like to talk about a game, new or old, that we really love playing.
Personal best of the month, right?
So what's the favorite thing you played last month?
My favorite game last month was Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. It had been a little while since we played this game. We kind of had put it aside for a bit, and one thing just hadn't hit the table yet. So we finally played it, we streamed it, it was so much fun. I forgot like how cool that system is.
Just partying
because
in
it
Middle-earth.
uses app integration, so everything's randomized. We're real bad at it. And it takes the Mansion of Madness system, but makes it Lord of the Rings-ified, and it's just great. We're a huge Lord of the Rings fan. There's Frodo. We have a 3D printed bust of Gandalf right here.
Right there. The love is right there.
It's what we do. And so I was reminded of like, oh yeah, that's right. I freaking love this game. This game is so much fun. And I think the app integration just works so well.
A game for me that I love just won a Golden Geek, Nick.
Oh,
it was for most innovative game. It's Micro Macro Crime
I had a hunch
City.
this was gonna be your favorite. You really enjoyed this game.
It's so fun. So for anyone that doesn't know or didn't see in the Golden Geek, it's basically kind of like a Where's Waldo or Where's Wally, depending on where you are in the world. Crime game?
Gerald? That's what it is. That's what it is in Estonia.
Lincoln and the crew did a game night episode that you should definitely watch on Micro Macro Crime City, and it's basically you have this humongous map. It's very large
map. It's way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
And it has various scenes playing out, and you need to kind of put together.
You're solving a murder mystery.
Solving a murder mystery and stuff, and everything is right there in front of you. There's no like guesstimations and things. You will see your answers, and you have to kind of track back through the map, you'll see someone who's maybe died or something, but then if you find a, you kind of go through time, you look and you see like, oh, they were walking. So they came here from here, and where did they start their day? Oh, they were at their house. Was there anyone watching them in their house? And you can put together,
okay,
yeah, you can put together this whole case just by looking at this very large
art piece,
image with so many things
it's
populating
so big, yeah.
It's just really neat.
It
and
really is.
Fun.
It's so, and this is a game that when it was on BGG, the Golden Geek Awards, I was like, what? I've never even heard of this game.
Yeah.
What is this? And I'm just like, and then it just like won a bunch of awards, and we ended up getting a copy. I was just like, oh yeah, no, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's a super fun game. So if you ever come across it and stuff, I know it's kind of hard to find at the moment. Give it a go. It's a really interesting, really fun, cooperative experience. So that's my pick.
Yeah. All right, and that is going to be the end. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Best of BGG. Put your favorite thing of BGG from the last like 30 days or so down in the comments below. We always like to hear about new parts of BGG or your favorite parts of BGG as well.
Absolutely, and everything that you loved playing this last month, let us know. Let us know what you're excited for that maybe has been announced as releasing, and check out awesome things happening at BGG all the time.
Yeah, until next time, I'm Nick Murphy.
I'm Mike.
We're the Brothers Murph.
We'll see you next month.
Bye, everybody.